What's going on, family? I'm sitting out here. I'm in lovely Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. It's my first time visiting the city. Loving it, having a great time. I'm actually up here with I'm up here with Loon, with Big Loon. It's Up There podcast. He just did a interview last night with Wallow. A lot of y'all know who Wallow is. If you don't, you sleep. But Wallow is one of the most influential voices right now in the podcast space. And again, last night was a great conversation, nonetheless. But that's why I'm out here. It's not an actual vacation, but I needed to change the speed. I needed just a new rhythm right now. 'Cause I'm coming out of a space of um, one of the more trying times of my career to this point. I just experienced something that was, again, it was a learning lesson, but it's something that, again, it's not going to stop me. It's something I'm using to grow as a filmmaker, as a businessman. So I feel like, YouTube and just social media and that type of content space has been a great tool for me. I've learned a lot. A lot of great people have helped me along the way, man. I go back all the way to, I'm a Film Riot. This guy edits some of the guys who were doing it, with 10 years ago or so. Are the guys I really, really got hit to in this YouTube space. And then, you got Cindy Dailies today, you got Peter McKinnon, you got Maddie Gapoya, we got even, what's my guy in Atlanta? Oh man, I'm hating that I'm having a blank right now because I'm really a fan of his and it sucks. He shoots a lot of music videos. Oh man, I'll plug it in here and I'll act like this never happened. But anyhow, I just felt like it was right for me to try to share some knowledge or some information with the YouTube space, seeing that I've pulled so much from YouTube and I've learned so much from YouTube. I think it's only right that I kind of give back, right? This year, August 11th, I was scheduled to release the premiere of my second feature film called She's Such a Lady. And ultimately I had an actor who was not happy with the way that the marketing rolled out. So again, all right, let me just put rambling. When I went to start promoting my film, I used social media logic and marketing, right? So I have 3 people attached to my film who have substantial social media followers. So in my mind, it was just like, okay, we're gonna put these 3 names on the cover to help sell it and get more views and more eyes on it. Nothing deeper than that. Simply just, again, these are the more popular names attached to the film, and they have substantial roles in the film, at least. And I mean, one of them is the lead. So it's just like, okay, that makes sense to me. That was the thought process behind it. And so the guy who plays the love interest of my film, he kept asking to see the trailer and whatnot. So I sent it to him and I let him see it 2 days before releasing it. And you know how somebody will make a joke, but they're really speaking from a serious place. And he made the comment to me like, "Hey man, why is my name not in the trailer?" And I explained to him, what I just said. I used the 3 names with the biggest followings, yada yada yada. And even though he expressed his frustration, he still I left that conversation feeling like I know what he wanted, but he understood the decision I made, right? So 2 days later, it was June 15th, and this is when I released the trailer. Big storm starting as soon as I released it, right? That morning I received 2 calls from him and a text message before 8:35. And ultimately his wife messaged me by the time I got to work. I knew what they wanted, so again, we entertained the conversation. He went back into expressing his confusion for why his name wasn't listed. This time it's not because it wasn't listed in the movie. He's mad that he wasn't listed on my Facebook post. And my thing was, okay, I just tagged the same 3 people that were in the all I did was tag the same 3 people who were in the trailer. It was like, there are 28 speaking roles in this game. So for me to try to go through and tag everybody on the post, and everybody's Facebook name is not their real name. It's even worse with Instagram. So it's like I had plans on tagging everybody, which I eventually did. I tagged all the actors. I tagged everybody on the soundtrack, all the crew members. I tagged everybody because I want everybody to get their credit. But nonetheless, like I said, this guy had an issue because he claimed I didn't tag him on Facebook. And it was like, this isn't about Facebook. I know what this was about, right? Nonetheless. So me and this guy, it's like I'm trying not to go into everything, right? The story is a little more detailed than that. But ultimately, me and this guy never came to an understanding. And I was just simply letting him know, it's like, I understand your disappointment, but I need you to understand that there's hierarchy in the way that this is working. And it's like, in this project, I'm the leader. I was the writer and creator, and I was the director. And as well, I played producer, right? So, not played, I was the producer and the executive producer as well. But it's not about that. It's just about the fact that even when I speak on my film, I don't use I when I say my film or my. It's like I say our film. It's a collaborative thing, and I understand that. But I also understand the role that I do play, and it's like, as the leader, it's my job to make the decisions that I think are the best for the entire team and what's going to ultimately produce the best results for everyone involved in this. It's not for me to pick favorites. It's not for me to sabotage a project because I want my own popularity or fame. And so making my decision, I had all of these things in mind. And I think ultimately I know for a fact that my decision was made based on reasons that were justifiable, right? Whether I made the right decision or wrong decision is debatable. But I know my intention behind it, there was nothing, there was no intention to slight anybody's credit. So ultimately, me and him don't agree. And I have another castmate who, unfortunately, they asked me to work on a separate project, right? This is a long story, guys. I hope he's not asleep yet. But there's another castmate who, he's a comedian. And when I first met him, I introduced, we worked that night, and then I let him know about the plans to film my film that was coming up. I had just finished the script, and I had reached out to him. I was letting him know, I'd love for him to be a part. Let him know, nobody would be getting paid up front. We would work out the paperwork so that people would receive percentages on the back end if we were ever to sell it. He agreed, no hesitation. He fully agreed. So after he finished filming on my project, his manager reaches out to me and asks me, she lets me know that they have just got $150,000 of investment to shoot a comedy special for him. Amazing. Well, it's like, hey, I've never raised that type of money for a single project. Like, that's fascinating. And again, just let me know when you need my help. Let me know when you need my help, and I'm down, right? Sorry about rocking it down. But let me know when you need my help, and I'm down there. So he says, we want you to be the assistant director. I say, okay, cool. Just fill me in on what steps I need to take next, and we'll start planning. So she tells me she's going to send me an NDA. She sends the NDA, and I read over it. The NDA says I will be working for no compensation, and I would receive credit for the role I played in the film. Fine. Now, my thing with that is, when there aren't any resources on the table, that's fine. That's okay. We understand it, because we're all kind of sacrificing our time and our skills and our talent. But me personally, again, I can't say whether I'm right or wrong, but me personally, I would never, I would never ever get a budget and then have all of the people who have been sacrificing their time and working out the mud with me. I would never ever sit by or let them sit by and watch me take a budget and spend it with other people, pay them their full rate, give them their credit and their everything, and ask the people who have helped me to build my career to show up and continue to work for free. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that shows appreciation. I don't think that's how you grow with your peers. And so ultimately it didn't feel right for me. It did not feel right for me to know that there was over a six-figure budget, and for this one day production, you couldn't figure out how to pay me. Nonetheless, we can go into that in a whole nother way. But so I backed out of that project. And ever since I backed out of that project, the comedian has had an issue with me because he feels like he acted in my film for free. He thinks I was supposed to show up and work on this project for free. Again, I can't say whether I'm right or I'm wrong, but I know my intentions and I know what doesn't make sense to me. Now, if he's frustrated and he feels like I was supposed to pay him when nobody got paid, I can't argue that. But my thing is, it's not like I had him as a comedian. I didn't ask him to come and perform for free while he watched me spend my full budget with DC Young Fly. And that's how it felt to me. So ultimately, I chose not to be a part of that. Only giving you that part of the story because the comedian knows how to, basically he's spinning him. So he calls him and he's like, hey, I think that's messed up. Your name's not on the cover, you da-da-da-da-da. Kind of just pumping him up, right? And my thing is, for one, why are you so invested in that? Because the third name on the cover is yours. So are you saying that you want your name off? You want your name removed? And when I spoke to the comedian, I asked him, directly, like, is that what you're saying? Do you have, because it feels like you have a problem with your name being on the cover. And the truth about it is that marketing scheme was based off of social media presence. But if I'm going based off of just telling the story of the movie, this actor's, his name is still not next up because the film is about the ladies. It's about her and her homegirls. And it's like the love interest is an important role in the film. But he's not the lead, and he's not the star. So ultimately, they just couldn't accept that, man. I'm telling y'all all of this back information just because ultimately, 3 weeks before the premiere of the film, I was hit with a cease and desist letter. The cease and desist letter are claims of misrepresentation, and because I did not have my actors sign actors releases. The misrepresentation claim is because he claims that he was promised a starring role when he was in fact a supporting role. Again, I don't know if I don't understand misrepresentation, but I thought misrepresentation was, hey, I'm shooting a film, I want you to come be in this film. And then you find out that this film is all about hating a particular type of person or, something along that line. It's like, hey, I didn't sign up to say that message. Or again, it could be my ignorance, and I just don't understand that part of it. But again, my attorney agrees with me that misrepresentation is not the correct word used there, and that's not what was happening. The actors release thing is a separate issue, because the truth is, I do have a contract with them all. I have verbal contracts with everybody, and everybody can vouch for that. The issue is not every judge is going to weigh that the same. And for us to put all the work in, we worked on this film now over 2 years, and for us to put all this work in and then turn around, we hustling, trying to figure out how to market it, promote it, do all these things. And I'm not gonna say if, I'm gonna say when this film becomes successful, to know that possibly 2 or 3 years down the road, these people can come back and sue me and take all my profit, take some of my rights. That just doesn't sit well with me, especially when I know how hard they have gone now to try to sabotage the screening. Because again, outside of not putting one of the two's name on the cover, I didn't do, and I won't even say, I still don't feel like I did anything wrong there. I just made a decision, a marketing decision, and that happens all the time. I've seen plenty of big films that use a bigger name star who's in a film for a small amount of time, but they use them in the marketing material, put them on the cover and whatever, and help sell the film. And that was my only intention. So again, if 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 I'm wrong for that, I'll accept that. But outside of that, the man, I've been labeled as unfair. I've been labeled as devious and vindictive and manipulating, all these things online. And it's so unfortunate because, again, I'd be lying if I told you that it doesn't affect me, right? Because I do wear my heart on my sleeve. Maybe it's a character flaw, but I like that about myself. But again, it hurts to know that my intentions were to collaborate with these people and help build something that we could all move forward in our careers with. And to know how hard these folks are really going to not only sabotage the screening of this film, but now they're trying to tarnish my name publicly. And it hurts. It hurts. It's a difficult space to be in because my instincts are to react. I'm not a person who's just gonna sit back and let you talk crazy about me and not, react or whatever. But then, like, I'm in a different element. This ain't, you know what I'm saying, a life I used to live. This is professional. This is entertainment. And no matter how frustrated I am, no matter how frustrated I am, I can't react in a certain way. So I've just had to go and get educated, man. I've had to get educated. With the help of my attorney, she's taught me a lot in these recent weeks. And it's an unfortunate space, but I'm not defeated. We were delayed, but not defeated. I'm in a space, and again, it's been something that's been on my mind a lot recently. So it's very fresh there. But I'm not in a space of regret. I'm not disappointed. I'm not in a space of feeling like anything's happening that's not supposed to happen. I'm a prayerful man, so I prayed about it. And I believe that this is working out the way it's supposed to work, right? I believe that these gentlemen wanted nothing to do with my project. They're getting exactly what they wanted. I want my project to be the best it can be and to go on to be as successful as possible. And I believe that's what's going to happen. Granted, I find myself in this position of restarting and trying to come back and, man, do the whole process again. But while it's a tall task, it's not one that I can't do. And I just try to remind myself that, there are options to make the film better, or that there are opportunities, I should say, to make the film a better film. There are opportunities to work with, to spend more time with the actors, doing a little bit more rehearsing, to spend more time with the crew, just making sure that they're fully on point and they understand the goal behind each single shot. I want to make each single shot a piece of art. So again, I know there's room for growth in the process. So I'm not defeated. I'm very, very much so, I'm inspired. I'm very inspired about this moment because I feel like all of this is for a reason. Even my little cousin told me, he was like, man, when I listen to like all those interviews and those backstories of these successful projects and people who, became successful, you hear these stories. You hear all the things they had to go through to become who they were and the lessons they had to learn. And he was just telling me, he was like, I feel like, cuz this is your moment. I feel like everything you're going through will be a part of your story you tell on what you had to do to get this film done. It'll be a part of, helping you grow so you can make sense. So now I'm not just trying to be morally right. I'm not trying to just do right by people. I'm trying to make sure I'm legally protected. So it's the biggest lesson for me. I'm not upset about it. I accept it to be what it is, but I want to make sure that I'm remembering it as a learning lesson. I don't want to move with hatred. I have no hatred for them guys. I have no desire to work with them ever again, but I'm not trying to go out of my way to make sure their career doesn't advance. I'm not going to, again, if you notice, I haven't said one of their names. A lot of people in Nashville will know in surrounding areas. They know exactly who I'm talking about, but some won't, and that's okay because I began in a space of really wanting to clear my name because I didn't like the things that were being said about me. But it's like, good friend of mine shared a post with me, and it was like, you know, reputation is what other people think of you. Your character is what you know about yourself. So stop spending so much energy trying to protect your reputation and make sure your character's in there. And it just hit home for me, Not to mention my reputation. Another reputation quote I love is your reputation can't be built when you need it. Meaning, just because at this moment my reputation is being attacked, I can't construct a reputation in the moment to say, no, look, I am a good guy. I have to trust the fact that in my last 10 years as a filmmaker, that the interactions people have had with me on sets, the clients, the everything, I have to trust the fact that I know for a fact majority of those experiences were good ones. Even if we never worked again, it's like I'm a respectful person. I care about my product. I care about what I do, so I'm always trying to put my best effort forward. So again, ultimately, it's like I'm not a self-righteous person, but I do try to treat people the way I want to be treated. So ultimately, I just live in a space where I understand, man, I can't necessarily control what other people say about me or how they feel. So this is my way of even addressing it. Like I wanted to go back on social media and Instagram and go back in when people were attacking me, right? But it's like my spirit just wasn't settled in that. And I don't think that's how God wanted me to handle it. And I'm okay with that. Again, so I'm gonna let that be what it is, right? So again, and I know it's a longer video than I expected. I kind of thought it might be just because of having to tell the story and whatnot. And I hope I told it in a way that you guys have a good enough understanding. I didn't want to give too much detail, but I felt like without enough information, you guys wouldn't properly understand my position and the disappointment I felt from this space, or the reason, the necessity I felt for even getting on camera and talking about this, because it's not about clearing my name. It's about, like I said, I just want to share information with the next filmmaker that's coming, the next independent filmmaker that, has big dreams and are super excited about the projects you want to work on. And it's like, man, it sucks. It sucks to put in all this work and to know that we're not starting over, but we're going back to a space, that we passed a long time ago. So ultimately, the message I want you guys to take away from this is, just because you're right does not mean you're legal. And when you're doing business, make sure you're taking care of your legal stuff before you step into just bringing in other people again, because as the leader, ignorance is not an excuse. So people may accept your apology, but it's not an excuse if people are following your leadership. So just want to make sure that, we are not just being artists. We make sure that we're carrying ourselves as businessmen and businesswomen, and make sure that we're taking the time to research this information so that we can all be the best filmmakers and best producers and whatnot that we want to be, right? So ultimately, man, sending y'all love. Hope y'all feel informed. Hope y'all are excited still about your filmmaking journeys. Again, in the post, in the comments, definitely let me know some of your feedback, things you think I could have done to handle this a little differently, or if you think I handled it the correct way. I plan on definitely checking in with you guys a lot more regularly. Channel won't be about trendy topics or anything like that. It'll be mostly about filmmaking, just motivational stuff for me from time to time, I guess. But yeah, man, wanted to sit out here and do that while I'm on vacation. Vacation, I said it again. I'm not on vacation, I'm working, guys. But yeah, man, from Philly, shout out to y'all for chill, getting some rest right now. Shout out to Wallow, shout out to Gilly. Everybody gonna be at Gilly Fest tomorrow. I know that's gonna be crazy, so I'm gonna go charge the batteries, relax, reset, get ready for that. Shout out to Big Loon for having me out here, working on the podcast with him. Yeah, man, so I check in with y'all next time, and peace, much love.